Alright, Trial Mob, so as you guys know, Joytoy has been actively trying to break our wallets, and I think they're coming for the kill. They are announcing some absolutely incredible things, and a few other announcements from other companies as well. We're about to get into it right now, we're about to break it all down, but before we do that, please make sure you are commenting, liking, and subscribing, as it helps my channel grow, it helps my content get out there, and it'll free up more time for me as this kind of stuff grows, for me to be able to make more content more consistently with you guys, alright? But I appreciate it, and for those of you who are already in the Trial Mob family, I appreciate you guys so damn much. All right, let's go ahead and get it. All right, and to start everything off, we're starting off with the new Joytoy Black Legion's Hellbrute. Now listen, I did come out with a list earlier. It was a fan-made list, but it seems to be that fan-made list was pretty damn accurate because everything that's been on there so far we've gotten, and here we finally have the Black Legion's Hellbrute. Man, this thing looks like a monster. Now, I think one of my favorite things outside of the vehicle, outside of this specific release, is more so that this kind of confirms the timeline that we got before. So this also basically confirms other figures that we're going to be getting soon. So that's incredibly exciting. But now here we have the actual Hellbrute itself, and man, this is one mean looking machine. And this is something that, again, the Black Legion, or specifically the Chaos Space Marines, seem to excel in. There's always this very sterile feel when it comes to the Primaris guys, and of course I love that. I love the really nice blue lines, gold lines, and how crisp and clean everything looks. But a lot of the Black Legion stuff and a lot of the Chaos Space Marine stuff just in general has this incredibly organic feel to it, and as you can tell, we get a lot of that here. So the Hellbrute is supposed to be basically a dreadnought, and as you guys remember, we are going to be getting a regular dreadnought. So here basically it's a corrupted one, right? So we got the scales and the horns and the skin overlays under there, and the gun itself has teeth growing out of it. I mean, man, these things are just oozing with a whole bunch of character, almost literally oozing, which I'm pretty sure once we get the Plague Marines, they'll definitely be oozing. Now, what's really cool is that, again, we do get to see right here a nice back shot of it, and here I feel like we can see a lot more, again, of that organic grown material that's taken over the arms and the back of the legs and things like that. And one of my favorite things, right, is that a lot of the, you could look at a lot of the dreadnoughts and say, okay, I'm going to switch out an arm, or I'm going to switch out wherever. These guys are organically connected to the rest of their weapons. It's become and melded in a part of their flesh itself. So that's not something you would be able to do here, though I'm not sure if that's even going to be an option on the regular dreadnought. But again, little details like that really encapsulate what these figures are for the Games Workshop lore and stuff like that. It really pushes that forward, and I do appreciate what they're doing here. Now, my only real concern here is articulation. It's hard for me to tell just from these photos where exactly it has any real articulation, right? I feel like on the regular dreadnought it's a little easier because it doesn't have all this organic matter on it. But I imagine at least up and down, and it looks like he can swivel at the hips left and right. I imagine the legs might be able to move forward, but I don't know. As I look at some of this geometry, my only real fear is that this is going to be basically a statue that can, you know, move just slightly in any direction. I mean, I guess maybe that's lore accurate, but again, I would like to see definitely some articulation, especially for how big this figure is. They could definitely fit some stuff in here, but again, just by looking at these photos, it's kind of unclear how much we're going to get in the terms of articulation. Now, if Warhammer wasn't enough for you, Joytoy is still coming out with its mechs, and we're getting a Zues mech. I believe this one's called the new Zues mech, and man, this is a really good looking figure. Their mechs don't seem to miss. People seem to love them and buy them. There never seems to be a bad one, so this is just another one that's going to be a must buy for a lot of you guys who are, you know, still purchasing these. Now, as you guys know, I don't really collect these big mechs just because, as you can tell, they're absolutely gigantic, and this is a 1/18 scale, and I don't have the bandwidth at home to be able to fit figures that are this big and bulky. I do have some that are big and bulky, and I always regret buying them at this size, so I'm gonna wait until something really catches my eye. But this again is the new Zues mech, and then, as you guys can tell, just a wonderful looking figure overall, with the cannon on the back, the sniper rifle in hand, and this is one of the first ones that I've seen that seems to have, other than the Gatling gun right next to his head, but on top of that, he seems to have an actual head. Like, it's not just like a chest with an eyeball in it, it's like a swiveling head. One of the other things that is really cool about this guy is something that the rest of them come with as well. That's surprisingly good articulation. They seem to have a wonderful skeleton that everything attaches to, and it seems to have a wide variety of movement, so that should transfer over to this one as well. Now, the only thing that I might say looks a little weird for me is if you guys look at that right hand on the left hand side of the screen, you're going to notice that it's kind of a thin fingery hand. Like I don't know, I feel like some of the other ones I've seen before have like massive hands to grab the weapons, so I'm not sure if that's a separate attachment or that's supposed to be a different hand. Other than that, everything else seems to be pretty standard, but that small hand does kind of bother me. And of course, to make up for that, they gave him a chain sword. Man, not just a sword, not just a blade, a chain sword. Yo, like, listen, I'm a sucker for swords. I think everybody knows that at this point. I'm a sucker for swords. Whenever they use these, pause. But I think that it's really cool that they're giving this specific guy this kind of chain sword. I don't believe we've seen it before. I do believe that this is a first time use. As you can tell, he seems to be able to grip it in front of him pretty well. Again, I'm hoping that articulation doesn't stop it from being able to pose it correctly. Again, that left arm seems to be pushed all the way out, but I think it could reach across his chest, no issue. So he should be able to hold that sword pretty well, and probably put him into some really dynamic posing, but again, we won't know until we have this in hand. Now, as you know, Joytoy obviously does an incredible amount of not just articulation when possible, but also just details on details on details, front and back of the figure. And this is a mech that you can put that actual little Joytoy Marine or whatever it is, soldier, inside of it. So it's really cool when they show us the cockpit, because that just makes it that much more real. I know that it might not be something that you see, but if it was just a plain old, you know, no stickers, no nothing, no, just literally a seat for him to sit in, that kind of takes away from the specialness of the figure. So I appreciate that Joytoy puts a lot of detail in that cockpit. They don't necessarily have to do that, but when they do it, it just, again, it elevates the figure. It makes it feel more real, more organic, and that's something that I hope that they never get rid of. Here we get a nice close-up of it, and as you can tell, again, there's just stuff by the right hand. I'm sure you can't see it because of the angle of this photo, but I'm sure there's stuff on his left hand. Even on the cockpit itself, the part that will close up in front of him, you can tell it has a screen. I mean, again, they put some thought into this to make it, again, a figure that definitely seems to feel both real and alive and organic, and that's just something that you have to give Joytoy an applause for. I know quality control can be definitely an iffy subject with them, but A for effort, I guess, is what we can say here, right? A for the effort of what they're bringing to you. You're going to get a lot of what you see here. Are there going to be a little bit of quality issues? Yeah, more than likely we will see some stuff, but again, you can at least expect that the final product is going to be, there's just going to be a lot to it. And then, of course, as you know, he is going to come with a pilot. The pilot looks pretty nice. It looks a lot like what we've seen before from them. The weapons, I think, are reused as well. But again, it's a nice looking figure overall. You're only going to be able to get this figure, I believe, with the Zues mech. Maybe I'm incorrect about that. I forget how they decide, but sometimes it comes with the mech only. Sometimes you can get it on the side. So I don't know. Is this one a must buy for me if it's on the side? No, I don't think so. But, you know, I think if you are a completionist, this is going to be perfectly fine for you to buy. Now, this is the part in the news segment where I might go into a little bit of a rant, but before I do that, let me just say this. This is a really cool looking prototype from Joytoy. They have this huge buster sword, this thick armor, kind of astronaut-y looking, but at the same time, I don't know, what would you say, kind of like a Krogan style look. It's hard to really pinpoint what this looks like, but we see that there's a gun connected to the right arm, a gigantic blade on the left, you know, this nice big helmeted armored body. I mean, man, so this is an unnamed Joytoy prototype. This is obviously something that we're going to be getting soon, and damn, this is why I'm telling you, Joytoy is trying to break your bank account. They're releasing stuff at lightning speed that they know you're going to buy, and that they know you're going to pull out a credit card to try to purchase, because stuff like this is just so damn cool. I cannot wait to see this guy in color. Are they going to make him a red? Are they going to make him a white? Are they going to make him, you know, is he going to have a bunch of different color codes? What is the blade going to look like? And that's And these are all questions that I can't wait to get answered. But just as a basically an artist proof figure, as we're seeing here, this looks incredible. And just wait until I show you how big this guy is. As you can tell, he's inside of an armor. The fact that you have a what would you call that? He's not a cockpit, and I guess not necessarily a helmet, but I guess you could say the helmet portion comes up. I mean, man, that is really dope. And the guy under there looks really badass. He looks really cool with that robotic looking eye. You know, he might have some scarring on the face. He might have who knows what, however they're going to paint him. He could even be an alien. He's not even going to have regular human skin. It's hard to tell. But again, these are all questions that we're going to have answered soon. But again, what is this? Is it going to be Battle for the Stars? Most likely it'll be Battle for the Stars, but we haven't seen anything at this size. And I cannot tell for sure, but it does have some cues. But could this be a new IP? Could this be something else that they're going to do? And as you can tell, again, if you haven't been able to notice, this is a big figure. Double jointed knees, huge double jointed knees. Look at that, man. Like that looks obviously bigger than even the Space Marines that we've gotten from Joytoy. And then of course the turbines on the back. I mean, again, they are definitely going for broke here, and that is completely fine with me. I can already tell I'm gonna want to buy this. I say that a lot and then I end up not pulling through, but man, I cannot wait to see, you know, is this guy one of many? Is he leading other figures? Are they going to be, you know, is this a one of a set of 3, or is this the leader of a set of 5? You know, like, what are the other supporting characters to this figure going to look like? I cannot wait to see that. All right, and now the rant begins. Okay, so as you guys can tell, this guy is massive. If the Joytoy Warhammer stuff is roughly about 4.5 inches, almost 5 inches tall, this is a full-on 6-inch scale figure. That I don't even know if this is supposed to be a 1/18th figure. Again, it hasn't even been confirmed yet. I imagine it is 1/18th scale, but this is basically their first, as you can tell, 6-inch tall figure. This might even be a little bit taller with the helmet. It might be 6 inches without the helmet, but he is probably just, again, this is the biggest figure we've gotten from Joytoy. I appreciate that. I appreciate that they're doing that. I think it looks great. I think that there's just so much that they're unlocking when they're making it a little bit bigger. That does mean price is going to go up. That means, you know, availability might go down as well. But this is where I want to say, what the hell, Joytoy? I don't understand. I'm a scale snob, and there's plenty of us that are scale snobs for sure, but why the hell is it that they weren't able to make the Warhammer stuff this tall, but then here they come in and just a random IP and they do make it that tall? It almost seems self-sabotaging, you know? Like, if you look at how big this guy is next to the regular Joytoy, you know, Hunter on the right, that's a regular 6-foot tall guy. This looks a lot more like what we should have gotten with the actual Joytoy Space Marines. So I don't know, it just really irks me to see that they can make it that size. There was never a problem with making it that size. They just didn't. So if we do end up getting the Krieg soldiers, I don't know if you guys have heard about that, but there's a chance we are getting the Krieg soldiers. They're either going to be a little too big, or they're going to have to make them smaller if they want to make them at least kind of to scale. So I don't understand. Obviously Joytoy doesn't have a problem making a figure this damn big. So why did we get skimped out on for the Games Workshop stuff? It just kind of irks me. All right, now with that rant over, we are now seeing right here, this is the Shodo Kamen Rider Maul, I believe is the one that this one is called. Cool looking figure overall. I'm not a big avid collector of this stuff. I do have one Kamen Rider from the SH Figure Arts line. I don't know if I'm going to buy any more. I do know that these guys are priced a little bit nicer. There are obviously 1/18 scale, so a little bit smaller, and they seem to be cranking them out at a really fast speed. So if you are a Kamen Rider fan, you know, and you have considered 1/18 stuff before, this is definitely something that should be on your radar. They're pumping these guys out like candy, man. For the most part, I do think that this guy looks pretty cool. It seems to be, he has a few left hand attachments. I think the right hand is permanent, but the left hand seems to have a few options. So the kit for this guy is probably going to look fairly nice. Again, I don't know anything enough about Kamen Rider to make any decisions on whether or not this guy looks accurate to the screen, but if you guys know who this is, I'm sure this guy looks perfectly fine. Now here we have the Evolto Black Hole Foam. I don't know if that's really his real name, that's just what I saw there. That's quite a weird name, but besides a weird name, this guy looks really badass. Now why does he? The color looks great, right? We have the whites and the reds at the top, whites and the blacks and the comma, but then below that we still have golds and blues and reds throughout. So this guy has a really nice color palette, a bit more interesting than the mall figure. And of course here they're showing him, it looks like levitating, right? So that must be something, a power that he must have in the show to be able to do that. I think this guy looks a lot more interesting for me, but he comes with one specific accessory that makes me actually want to pick this one up. And that accessory is a gun. This dude comes with a legit assault rifle. Like, bro, who? Like, I mean, man, this looks like, by having this assault rifle, he looks a lot more like a Joytoy character. So that's pretty interesting to me. That's a pretty interesting look to me, at least. I like it. I like what we're seeing here. And again, it makes me want to buy him, because if, let's say, I don't necessarily buy any more Kamen Rider stuff, I could just say this guy's a really cool Battle for the Stars a soldier and just go with it like that, you know? So I don't know, am I gonna pick this up? Maybe. That gun definitely persuades me. Now this last segment isn't news per se, it's just to let you guys know, or should I say, it's not news of a new figure. We know that Chief Korin and Doeg were gonna be coming out soon, and we finally got them. So if you guys want to pick this guy up, it's available for purchase. It's still only pre-orderable on BBTS, but I do believe it's on Locker Toys, and I do believe it's on Pia Club. Pia Club, I double checked yesterday, they for sure have it there. I stand by Pia Club. I've yet to have a problem with them. They always send me everything well done, well made, well protected. I never have to worry about anything being smashed. So definitely take a look at that if you guys wanted the Soil Ghost stuff. I am kind of right now at a crossroads. I want to buy this because even though I was never a fan of the Soil Ghost stuff, I do want to see if these are any good. And then on top of that, I want to buy the Black Legion stuff. Though it does seem that the Black Legion stuff does seem to have a lot of QC issues, so it's going to be a hit or a miss. But Nazar and Golgo is also the other set that's now available. I'm going to pick up one. I don't know which one I'm going to pick up between these two, and then maybe I'll pick up a Black Legion, one of them. I'm not sure which one yet, of course, but I'm going to pick up at least one. So in the comment section, let me know, what should I do? Should I skip these guys for now and just get the Black Legion stuff? Should I skip the Black Legion stuff and get this? Or maybe should I get a mix? Let me know what you guys would do, but I do appreciate you guys checking out the content. And again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And again, let me know what you guys are waiting for. And what do you guys feel about that figure that we're going to be getting from Joytoy, that 6-inch prototype? How do you guys feel about it? Do you guys want it? Are you guys going to buy it? Do you guys care about, again, that size discrepancy between that and the Space Marines? But again, that's it for today, and I will see you guys on the next one.